Hi, my name is Holly Lavoie, and I'm the Program Coordinator for SC INBRE, and I'd like to tell you of one of our funding opportunities, a pilot project directed towards student-mentored research, and it's called the MSP, or Mentored Student Pilot Project. The duration of this project will be September 1st, 2025 through August the 31st, 2026. The proposed work must be done during this period, and the funds must also be spent during this period. To apply for this award, you'll need to have a mentor in research. So this will be someone that you either currently work with or contact and agree to work with on the research project, and they will mentor you. The research project will be in the field of biomedical sciences, and your mentor will help you prepare the application. There are some important dates that you need to be aware of. The first of these dates is March the 3rd, 2025 by 5 p.m. This is the letter of intent deadline. If you even think you might want to submit one of these proposals, please submit a letter of intent because it is required to apply for this program. After discussing your project with the mentor and getting their permission, go to the SC INBRE website to the letter of intent link, and the student is expected to submit the letter of intent. What we need is a descriptive title of your project and up to 4 sentences describing what the project will be about. We're really interested in knowing that this project will fall under biomedical sciences. The second really important date is April the 4th, 2025, also by 5 p.m. And this is when your application is due, and it will be submitted through a link on the SC INBRE website as well. After working with your mentor to complete the proposal, the mentor will organize the proposal, get the required signatures, and submit it on your behalf through the SC INBRE website. We have up to 8 MSP awards this year. 5 of these are directed towards our primarily undergraduate institutions, and 3 of them are directed at our comprehensive research universities such as MUSC, Clemson, and USC Columbia. So who is eligible to apply for the Mentored Student Pilot Project? Any undergraduate or graduate student at a South Carolina INBRE affiliated institution. And the student cannot graduate before the completion of their project. So for example, you couldn't have a project and propose to do most of it in the summer after you graduate. The faculty member who mentors you will be responsible for filling out a form called the Mentor Collaboration Form, which we found on the website, which I'll show you shortly. The topic must be biomedically relevant. Our funding comes from NIH, and they're interested in human health and biomedical sciences. So your project must fall under the broad topic of biomedical science. SC INBRE has some focus areas shown here, but we're pretty flexible as long as it is clearly biomedical science. There's also some core facilities that you can use if needed, and you'll need to get a letter of support if you choose to use one of them. Your mentor is going to assist you with all the forms, especially the budget and budget justification forms. And the budget will be for a maximum of $3,000. So that $3,000 can include your salary for the year, it can include supplies, it could include travel to a meeting. To complete the MSP application, you will go to the SC INBRE website, and there are forms that can be used that are standard for each of our grant programs, and you'll find the mentor collaboration form there, and I'll take you there in a minute. There will be biosketch forms which you need to fill out. Students only need to fill out the part that actually applies to them, and the mentor should fill out their biosketch form as completely as possible. We expect the student to write the proposal with the mentor's guidance, but we do not want the mentor to actually write the proposal. The mentor is going to help with the forms and get them collated into a single document, and as I said before, get the signatures that are required by their institutions before submitting it through the SC INBRE portal. The project description portion of the grant is what the student will be working on. The proposal is limited to 3 pages. I'm not going to go through much detail here because this information is on our website, but I've made a few notes along the side of the outline to help you understand what should go into this proposal. So there should be a background, and you want to write this for a scientist, but not necessarily one that's in your field, because remember, not everyone can be an expert in your field, and reviewers will be reviewing multiple proposals in different fields. You should have a research question or hypothesis. You should clearly state your goals or objectives And these are, what do you aim to accomplish with this project? There should be a section on project impact or significance. And this really is, what is the biomedical importance of your project? You might not be curing cancer today, but what you're doing, the research you're doing, might give information that could lead to a treatment for cancer in the future, for example. The project design and research plan is really the meat of the proposal. This is stating what you plan to do and how you plan to do it. And again, you want to be as clear as possible and simplify for a scientist that's not in your field. So if you have a lot of acronyms and jargon that's specific to your field, you want to minimize that and explain things in simple terms. You want to make a timeline for your project. Take that year and say what you're going to be doing over the different months. What do you plan to accomplish, or what will you be working on during those months? You need to have some anticipated results. What do you expect to find? And there should be a plan to disseminate your results. At a minimum, you need to plan to present at the South Carolina INBRE Science Symposium that's usually held in February. But we'd love to know if you think your proposal is going to lead to posters, presentations at national meetings, in addition to our science symposium, and possible publications in peer-reviewed journals. So now I'd like to take you to our SCINBRE.org website. This place to learn more about our funding mechanisms and SCINBRE is at our SCINBRE.org website. There is a funding tab where there will be a link for the pilot projects, including the mentored student projects. Clicking on the pilot project link for mentored student pilot projects will bring you to this page. This will have the dates that the project is due. It'll have details about it. It will have the letter of intent link. It will have the proposal submission link. It will have a link to the bulk of the forms that are needed to go with this application and be filled out by you and your mentor. It will have some details about the letter of intent. There's a section on the expectation of students and mentors during the project, more details about eligibility, and we also have some core facilities listed that you could use if that's part of your proposal. It is not required. And there are proposal instructions. These will give you more detailed instructions about how to prepare your proposal. So there are no specific forms for the actual 3-page description. You can do that. You can do that in your word processor as long as you stay within the margin limits and the page numbers. Under this tab, you'll find the BioSketch forms for you, the PI of the project, and your mentor, and some examples, and details of the other elements that need to be in your proposal. Your mentor is supposed to fill out the mentor collaboration form. This is not given to the student but becomes part of the package before submission. That is why we'd like the mentor to actually do the submission through the SCINBRE portal. There's also information about vertebrate animals. There's also information about what composes human subjects research and a link to a worksheet. If you have human samples, you'll need to utilize this link. There's also information about the review process. Because this is a 1-year project, human subjects research is not allowed. However, you might have human samples, cells, or even data that is not considered human subjects research. In order to determine this, you can go to that Human Subjects Information tab on the pilot project page. At the link under that tab, there's a worksheet with a flow chart that will allow you to determine if your samples or data are considered human subjects research. And if they're not considered human subjects research, then they are okay for this proposal. Now, your research might also involve vertebrate animals, and if it does, you need to have an approved animal protocol in place before the work starts. So if your mentor does not currently have an approved animal protocol from your institutional IACUC committee or its equivalent, protocol needs to be submitted as soon as possible. Your mentor will need to submit a letter of approval from the institutional IACUC committee stating that the protocol has been approved for use in the project at your institution. And these will be due by July the 18th, 2025 if your proposal is funded. That will give us time to get them approved by NIH. If your project doesn't have human subjects or vertebrate animals, just say that. say none. So you might be wondering what happens to your application after you submit it. So after you submit your application through the SC INBRE submission site, it undergoes an administrative review to make sure all the components are there, and then it goes out for review to a scientific review panel, and those individuals will review your project. Several areas listed on the website, such as the significant, the clarity of explanation, and the mentor collaboration description. The reviewers will provide comments and scores, and after those reviews are returned, my office will collate them and send them to the next level of review, which is our external advisory. And this group of individuals will review the reviewer's comments and scores and do their own review of your proposal. And then those with the highest scores will get recommended for funding up to the number of applications we are able to fund. You'll be notified by our program director, Dr. Edie Goldsmith, as to whether your proposal was recommended for funding or not. If it was recommended for funding, it will then need to be approved by NIH and NIGMS, which is our funding agency. If you have questions about proposal formatting, form requirements, or just general information, John Clarkson, our SC INBRE business manager, can be contacted at the email shown here. If you have additional questions, such as does my topic fit the biomedical criteria, please feel free to contact me at the email address shown below. Good luck with your proposal.